So I went from this to this. So I don't need this anymore. Okay, so I've got a new exhaust muffler on the bike now. And I'm really happy with it. So let me explain what I did. I'm going to provide links in the description to this muffler, as well as the one that I first ordered from two different sources on Amazon. But I honestly feel like this is going to be the best value, bang for your buck, for an aftermarket slip-on exhaust for the Honda Rebel 1100 2022 that I have. So for me, it was an issue of the muffler being something that was parallel to the ground, horizontal, in line with the frame of the motorcycle, that would not interfere with the saddlebags, and if anything, allow me in the future, if I would like to, get larger saddlebags, at least taller ones. I don't want to go any wider, but I might want to go just a little bit taller, a little bit deeper of a saddlebag, so I can carry a few more things in it easily. So that's the look that I was going for, was this look right here. And I wanted to increase the volume just a little bit and lower the tone to get a little, deeper of a rumble. More of that strong motorcycle feel, that motorcycle sound. So the stock exhaust is super quiet, and it's this massive can. Huge can, in my opinion, at least. And it's not the prettiest looking thing. There's really no style to it, and it makes the bike insanely quiet. So if stealth mode is your thing, then by all means keep this guy on there and deal with the extra weight and the not so prettiest look. Some people just don't care about it, so that's fine. Otherwise, got rid of this big bad boy that weighs 11 pounds. This thing is super heavy for an exhaust piece. The new one here only weighs 6.5 pounds. It's got the heat shield guard right here on the main part of the pipes, which is fantastic for passengers, and with a little bit longer of an arm, it really brought it lower. So again, not only room for saddlebags, but also a little further away from passenger seat when their feet put their feet on the pegs here, on the passenger pegs. Again, it's more space, and then there's the guard here that provides a little more protection. It's also nice to have that guard there when you're unloading and loading out of this side, the saddlebag on this side of the bike. Just in case you have an oopsie moment and you brush up against that, you're brushing up against the guard, hopefully, and not the hot tailpipe. So here's the first one that I ordered, and I'll show you where it's messed up. So it's messed up in the fact that they're pretty much identical. The two areas that are different and made it not work for this bike is, one, the welded attachment arm that attaches it to your foot peg bracket. That is way too short for one, and it's angled in the wrong direction. See, this one is angled more that way, whereas this one is angled more this way, the opposite way. So yeah, that was kind of a oops on whoever welded this bracket on, didn't weld it in the right way. The other one, which was the major oops, is, if you can see, the top tube, when it bends here, it just goes straight. It goes straight out. And on this one, it curves down and feeds itself and matches up to where it's supposed to fit onto the exhaust pipe on the rest of the exhaust piping system. So if I were to have slipped this on to this guy, it would have angled this whole thing up, and I would have been able to attach it to the peg rest, but it would have been angled up, and this part of it would have been right here where the saddlebag is. So I wouldn't have been able to put a saddlebag on the side here, and my exhaust would have been angled up and high and out, and that's not the look that I wanted. That was not the design that I wanted, and it wasn't going to work in allowing me to have a saddlebag. So that was definitely a major no-go. So this one's getting returned, and I ordered another one from another company outsource, still purchasing on Amazon, through Amazon. But yeah, the downside is, and this, I still think it's overall a great muffler for the price of being well under $300 at the time that I purchased it. But it didn't come with a whole lot of hardware, the mounting hardware to mount it here, with the extension arm, and the extension arm that they provide with it was, each end of it was bent in a way that didn't work. It didn't line up properly for this. The other downside is right here where it tapers for its connection to the other pipe. This flanged part of it was not as long as it should have been to slide in to the receiving end, whereas the stock muffler has a longer taper. This section right here is longer on this one than it was on this guy. So what I had to do was protect the rest of the bike with some wood, and get the grinder wheel and cut off just a very slim little piece and line that up. So for hooking this guy up, and the issues of the length of that and everything, and making the cut that I made, be able to still be long enough, short enough to get this guy on there well, but long enough for the stock exhaust to go back on it without any issues. I needed to use, I was feeling, even with this clamp cranked down, I was feeling just the tiniest little bit of backflow air coming out from around where it's connected up here. So ran to the automotive store and got some JB Weld exhaust system sealant. That's for cracks, joints, and seams sealer. Great for muffler repairs and sealing, which is exactly what was needing to be done here. So I got this guy. It did not, and surprisingly did not, come with a tapered screw-on deal that you could cut and put a nice bead around it. So the hack that I used was taking the lid off from and 95% emptied the small little bottle of wood glue of some Elmer's wood glue. Took the cap off of the used up one and cut it on the bandsaw. Cut this bit because the inner circle here, the inner circle, actually just barely, almost perfectly fits onto the threads on this guy. So when you take the cap off, the threads here actually I was able to mash and thread that into the soft plastic of this cap, and that enabled me to have a nice cap tip for putting a good bead around this guy to seal that up and close off the connection point there, so I didn't get any black backflow. So that worked out really freaking awesome. So if you end up getting a tube of this, these work. These screw onto that. So that was pretty awesome. I was able to find something that I already had. Otherwise, they do sell in a pack of 2 for like $5, so it's not that big of a deal. But you know, this hack saved me $5 and not needing to get those. So yeah, this will still, the stock one will still go on it and tighten down just fine. The little bit that I trimmed to make this work is not enough that this would not be able to go back on it and seal up properly. So it was enough to make this work and not interfere with putting the stock one back on if needing to put the stock one back on the bike. So again, handful of modifications. I also went and painted the this was silver, the mesh, steel mesh that was part of this, that's part of this guard, was silver, and I went and painted it black. I prefer the all black look of it. And these screws were silver, and the paint's already coming off of them a little bit. I'm gonna end up just getting some black screws that fit in there, and some black washers to go with it. And I need to get I want to get a little bit larger of a screw for this mounting point here as well. But other than that, I'm really happy with it, and the sound is so much better. So let me go ahead and do that and let you listen to it, let you hear it. Again, the stock muffler, super quiet. Definitely an increase in volume and definitely a lower sounding tone. It's exactly what I was looking for, exactly what I was going for. I'll give it a little bit of throttle. Maybe back you up a little bit. Yeah, so that gives you a real good idea of the sound of it. And I love it. The wife loves it too when she gets to ride with me. Yeah, it's a definitely, you know, full thumbs up. For under $300, again, I think this is the best value that you can get for an aftermarket muffler exhaust pipe for this motorcycle, this particular bike, that actually looks good and stays in line and in flow with the rest of the profile of the motorcycle. I mean, if you're one of those that likes that sporty look of the uprising, angled upward exhaust tips, or you love the shorties, the short exhaust, then, you know, by all means, if that's your taste, go for it. But I honestly, personally feel that this keeps with the true image of the way the design of this motorcycle. It's honestly a real shame at the end of the day that Honda didn't do something more like this, and a lot less like that chunk of metal that I would say 90+% of us don't care for. yeah, I wish they would listen to their customers when it comes to that, and in future models of this bike do a different exhaust tailpipe. But all right, that's all I have for this video today. Give me a thumbs up. Check out some of my other bike videos. More to come with that. Trying to hook up with Beard of Doom, if you know him. He lives down in Florida, about a little over 3 hours from me. We've hooked up a couple of times and had lunch and swapped gear and stuff and goodies. And so he and I are trying to set up a day to do a little bit of a ride together and go to Arizona Custom Knife Works there on the south side of Jacksonville, Florida. So hopefully the two of us will be able to work that out and get that video up for you guys within the next handful of weeks or so. Alright, so that's it. Y'all have a good one. I'm out. Peace.